Today we're going to assemble Catskills model 1476. This is exactly the same assembly for 1470 also. It's just that the parts on the 1476 are a little bit longer, a little bit different than the other, but the assembly process is exactly the same. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put together the drawer. This is the drawer sides. This is going to be the right drawer side. This will be a left drawer side. Drawer back, I got 4 holes, 2 on either side. I got the slot for the drawer bottom. The first thing I'm going to do is make sure the holes go forward. And I'm going to take and I'm going to attach the sides to the back. And the way to do that is to take 1 1/4 number 8 Phillips head flat screws. I'm going to put just a little bit of mineral oil in this dish. I'm going to put that on first. Just going to start those. Start the top one, and then I'll get the bottom one started. And then just tighten it down. I'm going to do the other side exactly the same way. I'm going to take the drawer bottom. This is the wide, thin piece. Take the best side up, and you're going to put that into the slot. Slide it down, seat it in the sides and into the slot. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install the bastion post into the drawer front. The drawer front is solid. There's no handle. You're going to reach under there to open it. But you have 2 holes, 1 on either side. I'm going to dip these threads, just a little bit of oil. Turn them down all the way and then back them out about a turn and a half until here again, got the hole in the post perpendicular there. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to place the nut in that nut access hole. I can line those 2 little dots up. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Bring the front up. Make sure I get the bottom seated in there. If it's too loose, in other words, you don't have a good joint here, you want to take this back off and then turn the post down toward the wood another half turn. Okay, now we're going to do a little prep of the legs. The legs, just a little orientation here. The solid, that's the top. The hole for the bottom is where your wheel's going to go, so that's the bottom. This is the big hole for the towel bar to go in. And then you have 2 sets of holes at the top, one above the other. And then you have some holes on the side. This is where your shelf adjustment for the middle shelf goes. There's 3 there. And then this is your bottom shelf. So those are going to go on the inside. The left front leg is exactly the same as the right back leg and vice versa. In other words, they cross each other and they're exactly the same except for that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bastion post into each of these legs. I'm going to dip the threads in. I'm going to put them in the second hole down on the top set. 1 in each. Okay, I'm going to seat all of those. I'm going to go down to the post, to the solid part, hits the wood. Then I'm going to back it out about a turn until you can see the hole. The hole in this case is perpendicular with the long edge. See the hole? We're going to take one of the side braces. These are for the bastion barrel nuts. And you notice there's 2 little pilot holes. Those are going toward the top of the legs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bastion post and I'm going to insert it, threads out, so that, here again I use my little notches to point it toward the hole in the end of the brace. And to keep that from turning, I'm going to take a 3/4 inch pin and put it into that smaller hole right here. A little tap. That basically keeps the brace from turning. So I'm going to insert it like so. Line that up, make sure it's nice and straight with the leg. And then I'm going to tighten that right down. Now it's not necessary that the set screw goes all the way into that barrel nut. It may be sticking out a little bit, so don't be concerned. The main thing you want is just a real good tight fit, that the wood fits real tight. That way when you get it together, you don't have to go back and take it apart and put it back together again and by turning the post out. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is take the glide support brace. It's got 2 holes in either end. They're exactly the same. I'm going to put 3/4 inch steel pins in both of those holes. You can tap them in if necessary. If they're a little bit loose, that's okay. They're just going to keep that brace from turning. So we'll lay that down. You'll have that oriented so that those holes are near the top of the brace. They're all offset toward the top of the brace. That's where your glide support is going to go. Now that we have the top side brace in on one side, I put the glide support brace in on the other side. And I'll take the towel bar and I'm going to insert that into the big hole there. And then I have to carefully align the pin with the hole, the post with the hole, and then these two, and the towel bar. So it takes a little bit of finagling to get it all done, but I think the first thing you do, since that post is the longest, just sort of insert that in a little ways, then put your bar in a little ways. You put your barrel nut in so that the little notches are there. Then we'll just start edging that closer and closer. Then we're going to secure the whole thing with the little set screw. We're going to look at the glides. These are full extension glides. Pull them apart. Pull this all the way out. And you'll notice there's a little black plastic tab there. I'm going to pull that down. As I pull it down, I'm just going to remove the part. I'll do that on both of them. This part is going to attach to your drawer. So here we're going to align 2 of these holes with the first and the third hole in the glide. I'm going to have to play around with this a little bit, and we'll see a couple that line up here. Okay, this is going to be the front of your cart, and this glide, the bottom part of the glide, is going to extend over the leg from the inside about 1.25 inches. You'll look down through this inner glide and you'll see that the first and the third hole line up. Okay, now we're going to attach that glide with 2 of these small pan head, which is a rounded head, Phillips screws, and we're just going to put them right in there. I'm going to line both of them up before I tighten them down. This one is on the back hole here. I'm not going to tell you which holes, counting from the front to the back, because these glides change from time to time. It's more important that you have this about 1.25 inches, and then you'll find that 2 of them align. This one happens to be a round hole toward the back, and this one happens to be a slot. Okay, now I'm going to put 2 bastion posts into the top of the leg, opposite where the glide comes out. Because this is going to be the front, this is going to be the back. Top back brace is going to attach this way. So, remember that. Send down the holes perpendicular this way, perpendicular to the long edge. Now I'm going to take this. You can do it any way that's convenient to you. I'm going to start this brace into the end here. I'll drop 2 of the barrel nuts, threaded ends out. The little notches there shows me which is goes toward the post. Goes in. And we just slide those right on in. And I can see that hole in the post, but it's offset to the center, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And we'll take and secure that with set screws. Okay, now just a quick shot to show you with the top back brace in place. We did exactly the same thing. We attached the other side with the bastions, 2 bastions, and now we're going to attach this to the top. Okay, now we're taking the top, we've inverted it, have 4 little holes here, pilot hole. That's going to attach your Z brackets. If you look at your Z brackets, you have one side has a little slot and a hole, the other side has just a slot. We're going to use the hole to attach these in 4 places. We'll line them up to the bottom of the top. We're going to use the flathead number 6 screws on that. We're just going to tighten those right down. Okay, now I've taken the side assembly with the back and put it right on the bottom of the top. And the last thing I need to do is to attach the L brackets to the top of these side brackets. And you just line up the slot 4 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you secure those with those flathead Phillips screws, the small ones you have left over. Okay, once you get the sides and the back attached to the bottom of the top, it's a good time to put your casters on. You take the little sleeves and pound them in. Okay, the next thing, we have 2 locking casters and 2 plain casters. The locking ones normally put on the front. Always tap it on that metal part there. Doesn't go in easily. And then the plain ones will go on the back. While we still have it upside down, I think it's best to put the shelves in. The bottom shelves, the shelves are already assembled for you. There's notches, clearance for the leg. You take 1 1/4 inch number 8 screws, and you need somebody to help you to line those up. And then once you get them lined up, you've got to tighten them all down. Really tight. That's going to tighten your unit up tremendously. There's 3 positions for the middle shelf. I put it into the middle hole here. Make sure you got the same one on either side. Get someone to level it up for you. Start the 1 1/4 number 8 screws and then secure that real well. You can always change the height if you want to. You just unscrew the 4 screws, move it up or down. Okay, one of the last steps we're going to do is we're going to put the glide onto the drawer. And you may find 2 sets of holes. The bottom hole, if you find the bottom set of holes, they're not used. You're going to use the ones near the middle. This little solid piece is going to go right up against the back, and you'll see that 2 of the holes line up. This hole is lining up, and the one right behind the little black lever is lining up. So we're just going to secure this on there with those round-headed small screws that you have left over. And then we're just going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is just put the drawer in on either side. Make sure that the sharp edges go into the slots on either side. Then you push it in and you'll notice it stops. That's because it hits those little stops. You just got to give it a shove and then it goes back in nicely. Then you have a nice drawer. Back it up.